So what is the easiest way to travel with your Brompton? A couple weeks ago, I went down to Southern California for a conference to speak, and I flew down with the Brompton. In this video, I'm going to share with you guys some tips and tricks to flying with the Brompton with no additional bike taxes, bike fees, or anything like that. Welcome back, Pathless Peddlers, and if you're new to the channel, if you're into the non-competitive side of cycling, gravel exploring, Bromptons, the supple life, you have found your people, hit that subscribe button. If you like content like this, consider supporting the channel by buying a patch, our new route guide, or even our Brompton touring book. The information's still good. We wrote it many years ago, but the Brompton essentially hasn't changed. So if you're into touring with your Brompton, I think we wrote kind of like the definitive book on how to set your Brompton up. So before we jump into the video, I'm gonna give you guys a couple disclaimers. I'm gonna make some suggestions, and it's really up to you if you're comfortable with traveling with your Brompton this way. First off, this is gonna cover US domestic travel, and specifically traveling with a bike-friendly airline like Alaska Airlines. In our experience, are the best airline to fly with bikes, folded or in a case, just because they don't tack on an extra bike fee. So over the years, we've tried different methods flying with the Brompton, creating a box for it, gate checking it. Currently, my favorite way is to actually just check it as luggage. But the last couple of trips where I've flown with the Brompton, I've done just that, and the bike has survived. Again, it really depends on your airlines. Alaska Airlines is probably the best airlines to do this method with. First off, obviously, you gotta fold your bike down. So once you get nice and folded, take off the pedals. And one added trick that we do is to actually remove these little twiddly knobs. I'm not exactly sure what the specific term is, but you know what I mean, these little twiddly guys over here. And the thinking is that as the bike gets moved around from check-in to the plane, it's gonna hit certain things. And by removing these knobs, you you eliminate the risk of these bolts getting bent or damaged, which, as you guys know, is essential to folding the bike. So definitely take these guys off. Of course, you also want to remove your quick release pedal so that's not sticking out. So remove the pedal as well. I personally actually leave the saddle on there. It just kind of adds a little bit of protection to this part of the frame. I mean, the saddle you can always replace, but if you smack these quick release levers here, it could do some irreparable damage, but you can always replace the saddle. One added touch is you want to secure the bike somehow so it doesn't accidentally unfold in transit. You can use a belay strap, a typical webbing strap. I like to use these John's Irish straps that we got from Rivendell. So I'll run that through the handlebar, the front wheel, the rear wheel, and I'll also use another one attaching the saddle to the frame. So that's just for added protection. I mean, I think it's actually pretty rare that the quick release would pop off and you'd lose the saddle, but just in case, a little bit more peace of mind. So after securing the bike like this, I would check it in at Alaska Airlines like I would with any other piece of baggage. So there is a fee of $30, but it's not some exorbitant bike tax like some airlines charge you $200 one way for a bike. And I know you guys are freaking out right now, checking the bike in naked, no case, nothing. And here's the thinking: if the bike is naked and the people that work at the airlines can see that it's a bike, it looks a little bit more delicate and fragile, they're not just gonna toss it, as opposed to having some big, heavy, anonymous thing in a black Cordura bag. You can kind of care a little bit less about it. But when you can see that it's something like this with lots of obtuse angles and strange parts sticking out, the idea is people are gonna handle it a little bit more gently. Again, your mileage may vary. It's highly dependent on who's working and all that stuff. But for me, the last couple times I've flown with the Brompton, I've flown exactly like this, and it has miraculously popped out the other side in good condition. I know another popular method is actually bringing the Brompton with you on board the plane and putting it in the overhead compartment. And that works if you're flying out and you reliably know that you're gonna get an airplane with a pretty generous compartment above you. Since we live in a smaller town and it's a regional airport and we get these puddle jumpers that don't have a lot of room, I mean, sometimes I can barely fit a backpack up there. Brompton's not going to work. It actually saves me the hassle of trying to wrestle the Brompton into the overhead when I can just check it as I would any other piece of luggage. So again, I want to stress that this has worked for me, and I feel fairly comfortable and confident in doing this. And again, this works primarily in the US, domestically with Alaska Airlines. What do you guys think? Am I crazy for traveling with a Brompton like this on the airplane? Let me know in the comments below. What have your experiences been when traveling with the Brompton? What's your preferred method? Do you like the gate check method, or putting it in the overhead, or getting a specific travel case for it? Leave it in the comments, and as always, keep the supple side down.